Hey guys and gals, Denmark7643. Thanks a lot for joining me again today. It's a double header. I'm feeling a lot better today. I've actually had a cold. I've been a little bit under the weather. No COVID, thankfully, but just a little bit under the weather, whatever. So I wanted to just get this video out today to talk about a little bit more about the pilots that I had to gear up to make those rebels do what they do now compared to what they did before. And that's K2SO, Cassian, and also the rebel fighters surrounding Bistan and SRP2 and their usage outside of fleet. I wanted to talk a little bit about how you can use Bistan with Mon Mothma to get 4 out of 4 in territory battles. So this is a really fun team. It is Kara, Hoth Rebel Scout. It is Pow and Bistan. And the team is a crazy turn meter engine. And the general premise is you have a lot of crit chance on Scout. You have a lot of speed on Pow, Bistan, and Kara if you can help it. Kara needs to be tanky if she can help it. But offense also works because, as you'll see, the major premise for this is just to not allow your opponents to get turns and to spin around a turn meter generation engine along with turn meter reduction that just allows many turns in a row. And watch that turn meter, bye-bye. Bistan and Kara get the turn meter reduction done. Bistan special, there's a lot of shared potency in Mon Mothma, so his special reduces pretty much all their turn meter the way that I have them modded. And that's just speed and offense. Just as much as possible of everything. And then you have Kara, who has pretty high potency again. She gives herself potency up when she uses her special for area effect turn meter reduction. And then you're constantly triggering Hoth Rebel Scout to move, who has a chance, 40% chance to grant 25% turn meter to the entire team. And then you have Bistan's special, which grants 20% team turn meter. And then every time somebody in the team uses a special move for 3 more turns, Bistan will get 100% turn meter and be able to move again. And of course, every time that somebody in a Rebel Fighter team moves, everybody assists. And so while you don't get a whole lot of damage, you get all the effects, including that Hoth Rebel Scout move. So all the extra turns from Bistan are going to cycle through that. But that's not enough. Then you have Pow, who is ridiculous in the fact that he's going to gain 5% turn meter for every basic that occurs from a Rebel. And so it's 25% every time that everybody moves. He gains turn meter. And then on top of it, on his turn, Sakala generates 40% turn meter when you use it. So the guy is cycling like 65% turn meter every time he moves with Sakala. And his cooldowns are being reduced for every Rebel Basic 2 with the Zeta. So he's able to use it over and over and over again. And the best part about it is it's a 0 damage attack that gives offense up to the whole team. So they're dealing more damage, but there's no major 90% assist damage penalty now. It's much less. And so you can see some bigger numbers on Pow's turn from the rest of the team here because, you know, they're not suffering from that 90% damage penalty. So you put it all together and you get a system where you're able to just move and chain many turns together and stall out on this first board in light side territory battles. And what you're trying to do is just give Mon Mothma as many turns as possible to get that pet promoted. Because your damage potential isn't super high right away with the team until you get defense penetration up from your pet. You need that when it uses its special. You get buffed with it and it's delightful. But until you get to that point, and later a commander, you really don't have a whole lot of damage output. So you don't want to. You kind of want to milk it for a while and just, you know, make sure their turn meter is down, and also make sure that your cooldowns are available once you go into the next phase. The cool part about Mon Mothma teams is, well, besides all the shared stats and the resurrection and the massive benefits to the team on that resurrection. Mon Mothma's turns don't cycle super fast, but that is an incredible skill with Rally. Every support in the team grants an additional 15% health and protection on top of the health balancing and the resurrection of a fallen ally. And so, unless you're facing somebody like Gas that stops resurrection, it's just really, really, really funny to turn the tables. Sometimes you can be down 1 or 2 members, and you can come back from it. It's a lot of fun. And later here, you'll see that this was my first foray, and with this particular team, once I got everybody to Relic 3. Mon Mothma is the only Relic 5 here. Everybody else is super low Relic, because I didn't want them to have a big footprint on my top 80 for GAC. This team all fits right under that radar. But trust me when I say that Bistan will be Relic 7 soon, because that ship is amazing. And the damage output that increases there with the relics on those pilots is great, because he ignores defense and has 20% additional critical damage when he's stealthed. So he hurts. All right, so watch this. This is the best part of this Mon Mothma team. 2 moves and a B1 stack disappears. That's all you need, 2 turns. And we get a lot of them here. So that's it. They're all reduced to almost nothing. That one's gone. I mean, this is it. They're toast. It's laughable how quickly Mon Mothma just melts those B1 stacks. But it kind of makes sense. I mean, you have an army of rebels going after an army of droids. The army of rebels can wipe them out pretty quickly, you would think, compared to, a singular Jedi that might take a lot longer to deal with the same group. But anyway, so now we have a level 2 pet, and so we're still just going to kind of stall, and we're not really going to use a whole lot of specials except Sakala, which just recycles over and over and over and over again. And so this is really boring, and so I don't want to waste your time, but you can see that they don't get to move. All right, so the Watt board. You have the B2 there, and so just melt him in 2 moves again, like he's not even there. And then I just started to get to work on Watt, because I figure, all right, well, let's spread the days around. We have the pet promoted. He's now a commander, so we're going to get days on his basic. We just want to spread that around, so in case there's any turn meter gain shenanigans or whatever, and it doesn't happen, no assisting is going to happen. It's just really smart to spread the debuffs that are available around the field. And it is really funny, too, the amount of damage over times that end up on some of these characters because of Bistan's basic, which is just anecdotal. He's really there for his big damage special that drains turn meter. And also for Frenzy, which is just invaluable to keep the turn meter train rolling. But the only thing that sucks is it takes a while. You can see we have defense pin up now, and it's just really hard to chew through Watt. But that's it. They're not going to do anything. So look at this. That's the fast forward. Just slowly he goes down, and the turn meter is just not really ever. Oh, there we go. So we got a little blue, but you can see. Okay. So what happens here? Bistan is just going to use this skill again. So just drains that one, and then does Magna get to do anything? We have another full turn meter. I'm not worried about Asajj here, because she's going to die from the damage over times. And there you go. So then on Newt here, this is where I made my mistake, because the way to keep this turn meter train moving is to hit your target to give credit for POW Zeta. And without it, if for some reason you get evaded, it doesn't count for whatever reason on POW, and he doesn't recycle his cooldowns. And so Sakala eventually will become unavailable, and you will see here I will try to go for that Droideka first, and they have just unnaturally high evasion. And the only scary enemies out here, not Droideka in fact, but the sniper droid that we saw earlier. Those are the scary ones for this squad, because you can't resurrect from one of the sniper droid's moves, so you got to deal with that. But they don't dodge like a Droideka does, so they're not really a big deal. Just go for them first. So in this pattern, I went for the Droideka first after spreading days, just like I did on the last one. And eventually RNG bit me to the fact where I ended up losing Kara. Not once, but twice. Twice, because they got to move and Newt did his thing. So it's really important to note that I am not doing the correct move order here. What I should be doing is just spinning it around the horn and then relying on the fact that Bistan and Kara are both going to have a chance to reduce that Droideka turn meter. And the worst case scenario is the Droideka might move, reduce everybody else, let him kill Kara. She's probably going to have potency up and pop right back up. But if she doesn't, then you can resurrect her with Mon Mothma right away. So it doesn't matter. Just go for the other characters first so that you don't get dodged. And that's the proper move. But you'll see here now, there's another dodge. They're going to keep coming, and eventually there's going to be this big string of white on my screen. And then Sakala will not be up for POW. And it breaks. Right there. So gross. Dodge, dodge, dodge. And now look. Now what do? We do that, but look at the turn meters climbing. So I didn't know what to do. There's another dodge. And bam, Kara gets nailed, but she had potency up, so she resurrects herself. Not that big of a deal, so I thought, but look at the turn meter now, and there's no way to AoE turn meter reduce right now. So we're going to be in trouble as we finally get Droideka down. And it's going to take a minute too, because again, damage is not where it needs to be without defense penetration up. And there you go, Newt moves, and they shoot, and they kill Kara again. But Mon Mothma has this cool move, and look at her health when she pops up here. Most resurrection skills do not leave the resurrected character in decent shape. Look at her. She's full health and, you know, pretty high protection very quickly. And she'll heal right back up to full. Won't be a big deal. Because now all of the targets have moved except for the Magna Guard. And so Corsi resisted the turn meter reduction on the AoE. But there's no Droideka left on the field. Frenzy's up. We're going to get a lot of turns here in a row. Because POW just pings that right back and forth with Bistan. And there you go. There's the turn meter reduction. You can see that he had almost full turn meter reduced with a single skill. Pretty strong. So that's that. The rest of this is pretty uneventful too. And then I actually ran out of storage space. Nothing else is going to happen except a whole lot of them getting killed and standing around. So, and then I ran out of storage space because I could not believe how long it took that team to get through them. So, really, really fun team. And then, you know, there's also the issue of people are like, well, you know, what are we going to do with Cassian and K2SO? And this team is kind of crazy. They can go up against DR, but I guess I really wanted to show them with Ackbar because this is really fun. Because now with Conquest, you get fights like this where they have Mon Mothma, but they only have like one rebel fighter on the other side. And so it makes you chuckle a little bit why they would do this, but I thought just on a whim, all right, well, I'll try this team and we'll just see how it does in Conquest. And with Cassian and K2SO, it just destroys. It's funny because you'll see later there's a lot of Grievous nodes in Conquest, and there's a lot of teams that you can use to kill them. But you know, you want to keep your clones with your Shakti or your gas if you're doing that nonsense or whatever. And there's a lot of ways to get around them. I mean, you can kill them with all kinds of teams, but this one works too. With Ackbar at Relic 3, and it's Relic 3 Princess Leia, and Relic 3 Cassian, and Relic 3 K2, and Relic 3 Bistan. Everybody's Relic 3 here. And because of Conquest and the fact I had a little bit of turn meter gain, once people got below 100% health, below 100% health, then the team would gain a little bit of turn meter. But, you know, you can go up against a couple of teams, and then I was looking around like, well, who should I fight? Tuskens? I'll crush them, you know. There's that Mon Mothma team. What about this one? I hate that team. Okay. Well, let's see if this will work. And it hurts. Poor Ackbar, he doesn't get a chance to do much flexing, unfortunately, because he's modded for offense and crit damage. And he basically gets to stand around and get killed. But this team kills this other team. It's really funny. A frenzy there. He doesn't gain the buff, but gained a little bit of turn meter. And so, ouch, and everything looks really bleak. But Cassian's on the field now, and so he's able to spread another healing immunity and some nastiness around. And Ackbar cleanses the team, so those debuffs don't stick around for very long. And K2 got AoE'd, so now he's taunting, just like Magna Guard would do to us, you know. I mean, those taunting, countering tanks. You know, if they taunt when they counterattack, it's pretty sweet, and, you know, they'll go for him. And we didn't get a counterattack there, which was a bummer, but with this setup, the way that Ackbar's lead works, you get a chance to call a lot of assists on 0 damage skills like that. Thanks, Ackbar, for the 37 grand. And then he killed him. Didn't get a critical, which is too bad. So things are looking really hairy, and they're not super great, but Princess Leia is pretty darn incredible under Ackbar, and she doesn't really have another home in my world. So for this nonsense, I was really concerned, you know, because this isn't a Mon Mothma team. There's nobody to dispel that nonsense. So we just want to keep going, let him do his thing, and he killed K2. But now we can damage him, and we have a frenzy on the board, and we're able to go ahead and actually win this fight, which is just funny to me. You know, I mean, this is an Ackbar team, and they were at 80% stamina. I just thought that was funny. So you can use your pilots for all sorts of things. It is really, really, really fun to use Mon Mothma for all sorts of teams. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is a win or a loss. It's got Chupio in it, which usually bodes pretty well. This particular fight was right out of Conquest again, 10-minute timer. But this is the team I use to counter DR in Territory War sometimes, if I can spare Chupio, because look at that. K2 just got drained, and he still has half his protection left, because he's modded strictly for protection. So this is ridiculous, you know, with the data cards. Obviously it's very imbalanced, but they also get bonuses too. So it's kind of interesting just that this team is just crushing in Conquest anything that doesn't stop Resurrection. And of course Chupio is just a beast. So I don't know, they're a fun team. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about the utility there. I love the team. I do not feel bad at all about investing in my Mon Mothma squad. You can kill a lot of stuff with them. You can defend against a lot of teams. And I guess on that note, do I have a GAC folder right here? For 3v3, I love this team. Give it a shot. I have a Relic 5 Wedge and a Relic 3 Kara, Relic 5 Mon Mothma, but you can stop a lot with it in threes. There's a 5v5 stop of Vader and Empire. Kara is great against them. Stopping Imperial Troopers makes me really, really, really happy at all times. I don't care what variant. No, there's not a Piet there, but timeout teams are great. they're fun. And when you have a tank that likes to hop back up, SRP can be irritating for them. Kira Nest, why are you trying that? Don't try Nest, especially if you see Cassian. That's just silly. And undersized rebels don't work either on the damage turn meter team with SRP. Again, hop up, get irritated. Kara works better there though. And this team, no, Revan is going to have a lot of problems with that squad because of damage output. And another quit out. And an undersized attempt doesn't work there either. And once again, 3v3, there's a pretty dangerous duo, but Kara is there for a reason. Stop Vader. That stun on him is clutch. She is not slow, and there are 3 rebels, but there are no Jedi there. So his speed is a little bit slower, and Kara's awful quick. And this team was kind of funny. Mismatch, doesn't matter. There's another 3s win against Night Sisters. And let's see here. Oh, that's an undersized attempt on my rebels. Yeah, don't do that with SLKR. You might be in trouble. There's just more of these. These occur a lot against Empire fleets, especially bad ones. But I mean, if you see the standard like Relic 3 or Relic 5 Tarkin, and they run Vader, Bomber, and TIE Fighter at like gear 12. And then you see Palpmobile right after that. You can 70 them. Yeah, 7-star bomber and all. Just get your relics where they need to be, including Ackbar, and it works. It's a lot of fun. And then, let's see here. I love this team. Stopping Traya. It always feels good to stop Traya, especially with Watt. You know, when that happens, it's just really fun. You know, I mean, they have the Annihilate there, but they don't get to move because Traya is just mean to them. You know, I mean, or Kara, excuse me, is just mean to them. Her animation takes so long. And Wedge deals a lot of damage in that team. Do not underestimate his contribution to Rebel fighters against Kara. He's really, really, really nice. And then you can stop silliness there when people try to get ridiculous, so that one doesn't count. It's not really a full squad. There's a stop against Palpatine. Once again, you're bringing Empire up against Kara. That is not really smart. And then there's some Geos just getting to quit out on the Cassian variant there with Wedge. It's a really fun team to run. Pow is really good at turn meter generation, but Wedge brings a lot of damage to the table. It's a great squad. And then that doesn't matter, I guess. So thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate you guys and gals. Rebels, Rebel pilots, Rebel fighters. They're fun. I like original movies, characters, and it's really cool to take my very favorite ship that I've had Gear 12 pilots for forever that I finally was able to relic. I can relic Bistan all the way up to 7 guilt-free. I have a use for him outside of ships now, and it makes me happy. So hopefully you guys and gals can get the same results I have, but it's been a real nice consistent 4-for-4 light side territory battle team for me as well. I do want more relics, push them up to 5 for consistency's sake, because again, I've only done it just a few times because it doesn't come around that much since I've relicked, and so there's a potential for loss there. I still don't know. I still haven't fought every single fight actually with them yet. But I will say that if you do end up against the Geonosian lineup, they are really, really, really tricky to get by with like a 2-tank. Like if you try to run Kara and Cassian and K2SO and Scout, try to make that work with the 2-tank. I ran out of gas in 3 of 4 at one time, but I was able to plow through it cleanly with POW in place with this squad here with Bistan and POW. So thank you so much. I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and until the next video, Denny out.